Welcome to Quiz It with Faabul. Today, we're celebrating one of the most colorful and cozy seasons of the year, fall. From changing leaves and harvests to pumpkins, migrating birds, and Oktoberfest, there is a lot more to autumn than cooler weather. So grab a warm drink, get comfortable, and let's see how much you know about this beautiful season. Let's get started. Let's begin with question number 1. Which fruit is most associated with fall harvest picking in orchards across Europe? Is it pineapple, apricots, cherries, or apples? When you think about visiting an orchard in the fall, you probably picture trees filled with ripe fruit, baskets being filled, and people enjoying the harvest. Some fruits are harvested in warmer months, but one is especially connected with autumn. The correct answer is apples. Apple picking is a classic fall activity across many parts of Europe and beyond. Apples are harvested in late summer and throughout autumn, with many different varieties becoming ready at different times. And of course, apples also show up in plenty of fall favorites, from apple pie to cider. Now let's move on to question number 2. What causes leaves to change color in fall? Is it increased sunlight, decreasing chlorophyll production, rising temperatures, or extra rainfall? As the days become shorter, trees receive less sunlight. That change affects what happens inside their leaves and eventually reveals the beautiful colors we associate with autumn. The correct answer is decreasing chlorophyll production. Chlorophyll is the green pigment that helps leaves use sunlight to make energy. As autumn approaches and daylight decreases, trees produce less chlorophyll. The green color fades, allowing yellow, orange, and red pigments that were already in the leaves to become more visible. That's what creates those incredible fall colors. Let's continue with question number 3. True or false? The autumnal equinox marks a day when daylight and darkness are approximately equal in length. This is one of those seasonal facts that sounds simple, but the word approximately is important. The equinox isn't necessarily a day with exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness everywhere. The correct answer is true. The autumnal equinox marks the beginning of astronomical fall in the northern hemisphere. Around this time, day and night are roughly equal in length because neither hemisphere is tilted strongly toward the sun. After the autumnal equinox, the northern hemisphere begins moving toward shorter days and longer nights. Now for question number 4. Which country produces the most pumpkins in the world? Is it the United States, India, China, or Turkey? Pumpkins are strongly connected with fall, especially Halloween, pumpkin pie, and autumn decorations. But the country producing the most pumpkins may not be the one you expect. The correct answer is China. China is a major producer of pumpkins and other squash varieties, producing far more than many people might guess. The United States may have a stronger cultural connection with pumpkins during the fall season, but it isn't the world's biggest producer. Let's move on to question number 5. Which bird is famous for migrating from Europe to Africa every autumn, covering thousands of miles? Is it the swallow, robin, sparrow, or pigeon? For many birds, fall means it's time to leave Europe and head toward warmer regions. Migration can involve enormous journeys, with birds crossing countries, mountains, and even the Mediterranean Sea. The correct answer is the swallow. Swallows are famous long-distance migrants. Many European swallows travel thousands of miles to spend the winter in Africa before making the journey back to Europe in spring. So while we associate fall with birds disappearing from the skies, for these travelers, it's the beginning of a remarkable journey. Now it's time for question number 6. True or false? Pumpkins are classified as a vegetable, not a fruit. This one can be confusing because we often think of pumpkins as vegetables. They're used in soups, side dishes, and savory recipes after all. But botanical classification doesn't depend on how we use a food in the kitchen. The correct answer is false. Botanically speaking, a pumpkin is a fruit because it develops from the flower of the plant and contains seeds. In cooking, however, pumpkins are commonly treated as vegetables because of their savory flavor and the way they're used. So this is a great example of the difference between botanical and culinary definitions. Let's continue with question number 7. Oktoberfest, the world's largest folk festival, is held every fall in which city? Is it Berlin, Hamburg, Vienna, or Munich? The name might make you think the festival could be held anywhere in Germany, but Oktoberfest has a very specific home. The correct answer is Munich. Oktoberfest began in Munich in 1810 as a celebration of the marriage of Crown Prince Ludwig and Princess Therese. What started as a royal celebration eventually became a huge annual festival featuring traditional food, music, costumes, rides, and of course, plenty of beer. Despite its name, much of the festival actually takes place in September. Now for question number 8. Which root vegetable is traditionally hollowed out and carved for autumn lanterns in parts of Ireland and Scotland, predating the pumpkin version? Is it a turnip, beetroot, parsnip, or carrot? Today, pumpkins are probably the first thing that comes to mind when we think about carved Halloween lanterns. But pumpkins weren't always part of the tradition. The correct answer is turnip. In Ireland and Scotland, people traditionally carved turnips and other root vegetables into lanterns. When the Halloween tradition reached North America, pumpkins were easier to find, larger, and much easier to carve. That's how the pumpkin gradually became the iconic Halloween lantern we know today. Let's move on to question number 9. True or false? Squirrels bury acorns in fall to have a food supply for winter. If you've ever watched a squirrel running around a park in autumn, you've probably seen it carrying something in its mouth and disappearing into the ground. But are those hidden nuts really being saved for later? The correct answer is true. Squirrels often collect and bury nuts, such as acorns, to create food stores for the colder months. They can remember many of their hiding places and return to them when food becomes harder to find. Of course, they don't recover every single nut. Some are forgotten, and those forgotten seeds can eventually grow into new trees. And finally, we have question number 10. Which grape variety is most widely harvested during autumn in Bordeaux, France? Is it Pinot Grigio, Riesling, Merlot, or Chardonnay? Bordeaux is one of the world's most famous wine regions, and autumn is an especially important time there because it's harvest season. The region is known for several grape varieties, but one of these is particularly important to Bordeaux wine production. The correct answer is Merlot. Merlot is one of the major grape varieties grown in Bordeaux and is especially important in the region's famous red wines. The grape is known for producing wines that are often smooth and fruity, and harvest usually takes place in the early autumn. And that brings us to the end of our fall trivia quiz. From colorful leaves and migrating birds to pumpkins, apples, and autumn traditions, fall is full of fascinating facts. How many questions did you get right? Thanks for listening to Quiz It with Faabul. We hope you enjoyed this trip through the sights, sounds, and traditions of fall. Stay cozy, enjoy the changing season, and we'll see you in the next quiz.